Hello everyone, my name is Ega. Today is about another one of my fan fiction. Today because I have a feeling that there is a lot of question, I'll skip the introduction and just skip to the question. Question number one: Do you, because this is one of the first story that have more than 6,000 words, do you find the story engaging from the beginning to the end?
I can start for a change. I did find it engaging from start to end. I was worried I would get bored because it's really long, but I actually didn't feel like it was long when I was going while I was reading it. So yeah, the other thing I was thinking about is I was worried that I would need to remember the previous stories you've written about these characters because this is not the first time we've come across these characters. I don't think you needed to read the previous stories to understand this story, and maybe the other maybe the other participants here can I don't know if they will agree or disagree with that, but at least for me, I found it entertaining. So yeah, good job.
Thank you. Next one. Okay, maybe use that if you want.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna go next. Well, again, I guess with same as Raphael, I'm commenting based on the fact that I've read all your other fanfics in this universe, and I was so surprised by how engaging it was for me. Like, I mean, not to say that I wasn't engaged in the other stories, but I was kind of afraid that I'd have a hard time following because you introduced a new character whom we haven't focused on before, which is Ben. But the way you wrote about it, it just seemed so organic. And I was able, I mean, I love how you were able to characterize Ben. And of course, we've seen the old characters like Tim. And I like how you were able to write their dynamics. So the dynamics between Ben and Jack and Ben and Tim and Ben and Timaeus. So yeah, it was so engaging. It was actually fast paced. It didn't feel like it was 6,000 words for me.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad that, yeah, even you didn't find it boring because that was my biggest concern. Yeah. Yeah, and I was concerned that you forgot about Timaeus as well because he's also a new character.
I did not find it that long. It actually I wanted more. It was, yes, it was engaging, and I mean I read it as someone who hasn't read your previous fanfic, so I really had no idea about like the world, the lore. But I was able to pick it up eventually as the story went on. So, and I enjoyed the interactions between Tim and Ben, and then later on with Tim Myers. Is that how you pronounce his name? Sorry. So yeah, I enjoyed, especially near the end. I enjoyed all of that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you too for Mary Peter Ayo, even though you write it, it's okay. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, this one is a different fanfic. This is not the Hetalia one.
Eka, maybe you can go to your next question.
Okay, I'm reading residual question first. Yeah, um, yeah. So still on question number two. Which part do you think that I could reduce or remove, or is it okay as it is? Uh, Maybe Raphael or that.
Right now, I don't think there's anything to add or remove from me, but I do have a comment. So there's this part where it's on page 9. And that's when I think this is the part where Ben discovers that there is censorship going on in the dream world. And because he just found the bird and the name is like blue something something, blue censor. And then he immediately thinks that Slenderman is the reason why there is a censor. And maybe it's in the fanfic world, but as someone who is not familiar with the original source, I do wonder how Ben was able to immediately know for sure that the censor is Slenderman's doing. So I'm not sure if that's something you're open to just tweaking a little bit.
Yeah, I don't mind tweaking that part a bit. Yeah, I don't mind personally. If you after you mention it, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. I was maybe my thought is that the strongest people in the place is him, so he just immediately come to that conclusion. But I mean,
Yeah.
at least I could make it clearer.
Yeah, you can just say that. And then this is another thing that's super minor. And this is on page 7. So this is when Ben arrives in the island in the dream world, and then he sees quote unquote Tim, but it's actually Timaeus. But you said here that it's Tim. When Ben says, "Did you say something?" and then nothing, panic Tim. But it's not like we find out later that it's not Tim. So I was wondering if you could remove the name so that you don't maybe it won't be like it won't seem like a loophole. So
I
the
get
readers will think
but I want people to like first think that it was Tim.
yeah, I think
Because it
but
was Tim.
I think the fact that there's supposed to be a meetup, the reader would naturally think it's Tim. So yeah. I don't know. Maybe other people have something to say about that.
Maybe no, okay. Maybe like make it more ambiguous or something.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well, I was expecting it to be Tim, obviously because there was a meetup, and what made me interested was the idea that something isn't quite right. So yeah, that's what like. I'm not gonna comment if you did it well or you didn't. You should do more of that, but I'm just saying like that's what went through my mind. Like uh, I like that something was up. I actually thought that he was gonna be bad, like a bad character. So when and then I saw the drawing and then it had red eyes, but then his expression was so I don't know if I want to put a word to his expression, but it felt like a good person. So I thought, oh, okay, so maybe this guy is actually good. And then, yeah, so if anything, it would be to, I guess, if anything, to make the twist even more special is to make it appear like this guy could be untrustworthy. Not could be untrustworthy or like, I don't really know if it's untrustworthy or just someone who has bad intentions or something scary or a spy. I was thinking those things like, is he a spy because there's this whole censorship thing and he's being like monitored by, Slenderman. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. Anyone else? Isabel or Ma Paniban Sarik.
Hi, Aga.
Hi, Isabel.
So, my comment there is that I already felt like there was a balance between the parts of it, like the scenes. So I did feel like, in my opinion, I didn't really feel as if there was something I had to remove already since I already found it interesting because as I've said, I am familiar with fanfic, but I didn't really have a liking to it before, but now I finally understood what it is because of everything you wrote. And I guess my comment would be, I know it's very minor, but I guess my comment would be how redundant some of the sentences or the phrases are, that it kind of made it complicated. Like for example, um, your first excerpt. Then you, but he didn't want to say it, saying it would indirectly imply he was agreeing to the plan. It was it kind of sounded off because indirectly imply. I sorry, I'm just being a bit technical, I guess, but it sort of has an impact on me. Indirectly imply. So I think yeah, kind of. You might need to work on the redundancy of your words or your phrases. But actually, I actually liked it already. There's also a balance for me. And what else? Um, those are just my examples. Those are just my opinions. But yeah, okay, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
Anybody else?
oh, sorry. Go, Marie.
Sorry.
Okay.
I know your second question is like which part can be reduced or taken out. Actually, I wanted something added, like a little more. Um, Near the start, so like we see how Jack and Ben are talking about that plan to isolate Tim, and then like on the third page, I think this is um it says the voice in Tim's head then asked what he wanted to do to get through this intense isolation the whole group has given to him. So it's really intense isolation, but like right before that, but we don't really see how it's so intense or what effect it has had on Tim already. So maybe you can add a few more scenes. I don't know. I don't know how comfortable you are making the story a little longer, but for me that might be a good addition.
Oh, that's interesting. That I did not expect that. Let's just say that. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. Okay, next question. Okay, forgive me. Next question. Oh yeah. Let's go talk about the character. What do you think about the character made in the story? The Vendron and Timaeus. Um, yeah, just tell me what you think about them. What I could like improve on them or what. Yeah, Vendron and Timaeus specifically because they are the main focus in the story. Although if you want to mention the other like Jack or Tim, you can too.
I can talk about Ben. Um, so I remember there was something that I found issue with, which is when he, oh, it was when Tim sort of trusted him so much. I wasn't sure Ben did anything to deserve that trust. And then the other thing also was, I guess in the same vein, was I shouldn't say Tim, I should say Timius, but also Tim. Um, when at the end he said like, "Oh, so you're on my team now," and then he said, "Yeah, but I'm still gonna like, I still need to hide because I'm still a slave to Slenderman." So again, like I'm not entirely convinced that Ben is trustworthy, and I'm also not convinced that Tim and Timius were so naive to trust him so much, even if
Mm,
he didn't really do anything, I think, to deserve that trust or to earn that trust. Yeah.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Maybe I should like make them like what's the word, less trustworthy, I guess. Yeah, especially I haven't established their friendship and all because yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that could be. Actually, I like the tender moments that they have, and I think it's okay to have those tender moments. But to open up, especially when Timaeus was opening up the whole backstory, I was like, "What? Wait." I was like, "Hang on a minute, Timaeus. Are you sure you can trust Ben with this stuff?" Like, I don't know. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think now is a good time to like bring up like dynamics of
Um,
I don't know guy friendships maybe like I don't know if it's like a girl thing to like overshare and feel like you're close to your friends or that you could one like or that you could always open up to your friends. But Raphael did bring up this point, and I think this is something that maybe males would be more familiar with, which is like you have friends that you can open up with, and there are friends that are just for hanging out, having fun, and just like superficial laughs. So I didn't think of that initially before Raphael commented on it. What
mm,
I wanted to say about Ben was that I actually quite like him as a character. I like that he is self aware and he seems to be honest with himself. Like, he knows where he fell short, for example, with Tim, and he feels like he's not there for Tim. But at the same time, he knows that he wasn't there for Tim because he also doesn't want to be punished by Jeff and Slenderman. So I like that you added a lot of layers to Ben. But yeah, I think combining what I said with Raphael's comment might help you build, what makes Ben trustworthy in Tim and Timaeus' eyes.
okay, thank you.
So I guess that means adding more information, right, to the story,
Or
right,
maybe
Raphael?
I don't know. I will think about it.
That's why I said like it can also be that Tim and Timaeus. I think you said it actually, which is you can also reduce their trustworthiness. So
Okay.
instead of adding parts where Ben is more trustworthy, and so it justifies them
Okay.
trusting him, you can instead remove the parts where you're trusting him, and instead
Okay.
tweak those parts so that they reveal a little bit less information.
Nah, I mean, I do agree, but I suddenly like maybe remember like maybe I could make it like it's what's the word, dichotomies. Like Timaeus is the one that's too easily trusting with others, while Tim always put up fences no matter how long he knew someone. Yeah, so like I agree with you, but like yeah, I will add that idea I just came up with. Yeah.
Maybe it would be helpful for you to go back to how you characterized Tim, because I know that the way you characterized him before was that he was wise and he'd
Yeah.
always do the right thing. And I feel like sometimes when it comes to like friendships or dealing with people, like you also want to, be trusting but not dumb. So I don't know how you would make Tim kind of like the type of guy to quote unquote trust someone, but not too much. So I don't know if that means um, opening up just a little bit, just like, general terms like, oh yeah, I have insomnia, that's it. Nothing about sleeping pills, for example. Something like that, maybe. But yeah, I think
Okay. Okay.
Tim being very selective with what he says will help.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I guess I just want to like load dumping a bit. That's why. Yeah, but I know that's not always good. Yeah, it's a good idea. Thank you. Okay, another one. Anybody else?
Yeah, for me, there They're really interesting. I don't know if he also intended to pair them up in this story, given that they both have other selves in them. You know how Tim has Timaeus, and then Ben has that voice in his head, the demon. He has his demons. So I feel like it's a really good parallel between them. It makes them, I don't know, it makes the pairing kind of make sense. So yeah, I appreciated that.
Okay, thank you.
I still find them interesting actually. Like just yeah, as I've said, I haven't really read fanfic before, but right now I already have a clue on what it is.
Like, do you like the characters, the Ben Brown and Timaeus, or is there something I could
Yes,
improve
actually,
them?
I like the characters, but at first I was like, oh my god, trigger warning, because I'm not really exposed to that kind of information, so it kind of shocked me. But along the way, I was along the way, I was already okay with the ideas of it because yeah, at first I was like drowned. Oh my god, I was
Well,
shocked, but it's okay. It's okay.
oh, that's just his nickname. So,
It's okay. I appreciate that.
oh, yeah. So you didn't know that's a nickname then.
Yeah, I was just kind of shocked, but it's okay. It's
It's part of
along the
yeah, it's part of his lore. He was drowned
yeah.
somehow. It's never really
I
explained.
know, I know, but it's fine. Even the demons part.
Okay. Okay. Is the story overloading you with too many new information slash lore? Anyone?
For me, no. What I did notice though, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but it stood out to me how they were very affectionate. I mean, I'm okay with men being affectionate. I mean, I ended up shipping Tim and Jeff from your previous submission, so I'm super okay with that. But I did notice that, for example, with Timaeus and Ben, for example, like, yeah, there was just like a lot of consistent hugging. So I'm not sure. I guess considering also, for example, what Raphael said about trust, I'm not sure if some of them would be very inclined to keep hugging like everyone on the island. So yeah, I think it's okay to to have those signs of affection. I
Mhm.
just found that there were a lot of scenes where they were hugging, and I just the effect maybe kind of because it was a lot, like the effect of the hug kind of, I don't know, kind of
Mhm.
went down eventually. Like the first hug was like, oh, okay, yay, they hug, and then they just keep hugging and hugging and hugging. So yeah, well, that's definitely a standout for me. I'm I'm not sure what to feel about it yet. That's why I just thought I'd
I,
bring it up. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I made that one, my idea is that Ben is the hugger type, and Timaeus haven't had any other human interaction except with
Yeah.
Tim and another one in the lore that I don't know in yet.
Yeah. I do find it actually what I like about your story is that it was as I said earlier, it's fast paced. The dynamics are interesting. It was actually really fun to read, and I like that every now and then you would say or give information about the characters that would add a lot of depth to them, and you didn't go overboard with some of the backstory, and yeah, that made it cool. And it's interesting. So Murray already mentioned that um, Tim and Ben have their own demons. So I like that somehow the story kind of touches on, mental health and being okay with being vulnerable. So yeah, I feel like your story does a lot. Yeah, I think it's just a lot of hugging that it kind of lost its effect on me.
Oh, oopsie. Oopsie daisy. Okay. Raphael, anybody else?
Nothing. Sorry.
Nothing? Okay. You don't think it's too hard to remember all the information? I guess you already mentioned that in the first question.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I have like just one last additional thing. No, I don't feel overloaded by too many details. Actually, I would have appreciated a little more on the setting. Um, like, for example, that scene where Tim and Ben kind of um they run into each other while Tim was going to the library. I was a little confused where they were. I thought they were outside, but I guess they were in Slenderman's house. So I don't know if that's just because I don't know the previous story and the premise that they're all living in this huge house. Is it a huge house? But yeah, so maybe actually it could do with a few more details. I wasn't overwhelmed at all.
Okay. Thank you. Isabel, if not, move on to the next question and another one that I want to add if there's time.
Yes, I really
Okay.
got nothing to say as
No,
of now. Sorry.
it's okay. Oh, nothing? Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. The fifth question. In the first chapter, I added like a character description for them, if you want to call it that. And does it help you with understanding the character a little bit more, even if just a bit, or does it not help at all?
I actually I read the glossary and then I was like, you know what? I want to see if reading the story itself would make the glossary useless. And for me, I mean that's it would be a good thing, right? If you didn't have to put the glossary. So I think you're able to do it for me. Although the thing with me is that I've read your previous fan fictions in this universe, so I do have more working knowledge than other people.
Fair. So do you like it, or do you? I mean, like not like it. Like does it like
The glossary,
does it
um,
like help you to understand the character more?
I'm not a fan of the glossary. I do like the drawing though. I wasn't expecting to see a drawing, um, but yeah.
Okay, okay. I also like things that are kind of you know weird. I guess I don't know. More like a like if a person make a journal about them, but also like not consistent. Yeah. So Raphael, you have anything to say about that glossary, whatever you want to call it, or character?
Um, I read it and then I read it and then when I was reading the story, didn't have to go back to it, and I didn't feel like, oh, I wish there was a glossary that I can go back to understand what's going on. So I don't think it was I don't think it was that useful.
Yeah. Okay.
You're talking about the
Thanks.
glossary, right? Not
Like
the
I
story.
think the idea is like in a manga, like after you read 1,000 chapters, you might forget about the character, so you put in description on every new chapter and all, or every book. I guess that's the idea behind the.
Hi, I can say something about that. I'm sorry I left for a bit because I had to subscribe to a new internet promo because my data was all used up for a bit. So anyway, regarding the glossary, for a person who hasn't actually wasn't able to read the previous stories that's supposed to be connected to this one, I found personally, I just found the glossary a bit overwhelming because there was like method of killing and stuff, and honestly, I had to put off reading it for a while because I wasn't sure. I got a bit anxious and I was of what I was going to be reading into. But yeah, eventually I was able to read the story and realize that the glossary was okay for context, but I don't think it was crucial to be part of the for this specific part of the story. So yeah, but it helped for the giving more context to the character. So that's it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Aiga, I have a question for you.
Sure.
This piece that you submitted, this is meant to be like, I know you know the wish one day is that you get to combine all the fics that you've written in this world and yeah, compile that. But I think you still want them to somehow be able to stand alone. Is that correct?
I guess in a way, yes.
Okay, because I went back to the start of the piece, so after the glossary, and I just realized that at the start of the piece, Jack played a huge role at the start in terms of like warning Ben and trying to, you know, um, pretty much cautioning Ben about falling in love with Tim. And it got me wondering, like, what is Jack's deal? Like, is he into Ben? Like, I kind of sense that, like, oh, this guy kind of seems like he cares too much about Ben or something. And then after that, at night when Ben ends up, going to the dreamland, like, there's no mention of Jack anymore. I mean, I think there's one mention, but it was just like super quick. There's like Jack stopped being a big part of the story. So I just thought I'd point that out.
Hmm. Um, so you think there should be more Jack mention?
Um,
Or
I
what?
honestly, I'm not quite sure yet if I want there to be more Jack mentioned, but maybe okay. I'm not sure how you'll do it, but right now with the story, I realized that obviously it's focused on Ben, and then it's focused on Ben's love interest. I mean, there's mentions of Tim and Tim's inner demon, Timaeus, but the but Jack just suddenly disappears, and I'm not sure. Like, I think the relationship between Ben and Jack, at least in this story, could be like highlighted a bit more. Like, why does Jack seem to care
Hmm.
for Ben enough to tell him that hey, don't fall in love with Tim.
Okay, fair enough. I'll think
Yeah,
about it if I'll change that or not. Sorry about that.
yeah. But I mean, I like the story as it is now. But yeah, just thinking of in terms of like completeness. Yeah, maybe other
Yeah.
people would look for more Jack. Maybe.
Jack is. Oh yeah, this is connecting to the next question. Like I know that it's like a really small teaser, and I don't think people will notice, but like Ben mentioned about there is this child that Jack really cares about, and Jack really don't want to talk about it. He mentioned it at least twice in the story, which I wouldn't be surprised because you didn't even notice. But in the next story, in the next month, that's the plan at least. Will be the next story. Focus on Jack. That's why there's not many Jack in this story. I think.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm
Okay.
sending a screenshot that I took from. So I remember Jack being mentioned at the last toward the end of the story. So that's on page 17. So here, it's written from Ben's, like point of view ish, and there's you say here that Jack was kind to him, even if he was a slave of Slenderman, all that stuff. Like, I think, like in this section, you could maybe speak more about Jack. You don't have to write like an entirely new scene in this work, but I think fleshing this out might be more helpful. I mean, at least in terms of, starting with Jack and also kind of ending with Jack as a presence, right? Because, I mean, this is a dream. So Ben is going to wake up and the following day he's going to see Jack as well, right? So, I mean, it's just like a looming figure, so to say.
Okay. So, sorry, what's your idea on the slashing the idea thing?
Sorry, what's slashing one?
You mean how do I improve on this paragraph?
I think more on just fleshing out, maybe at least in this story, what Ben thinks of Jack. Like, are they like really good bros, or are they? I don't know. I don't know what their dynamics are like. So I don't know if there's
Um,
potential bad blood
so we're
between them, or like
um,
what do you call this? Like a potential love triangle in the future. So I don't know if it's like purely platonic friendship, or if it's like kind of, a friendship that could turn into romance and there would be jealousy.
hmm,
So I think,
okay.
at least from Ben's perspective, we could at least know what he thinks of Jack.
Okay. Do you want the answer for that, or like, yeah, like
You can tell me.
your at least
You can say it.
okay, at least for the current idea, there's just like best friend because they've been in the what's the word the mansion the longest. That's why they gotta stick together,
Mm,
especially when there's a Jeff in the
yeah.
house.
Okay, that makes sense. I think maybe you just clarify that they are best friends and not because right now it's kind of up in the air, and in my head it's like, oh, they could be potential lovers and this could be a potential love triangle. So I think clarifying that it's a best friend and kind of like best friends looking out for each other would, add more like layers to the story, because I feel like the story is really good at exploring different types of relationships. So, yeah.
Okie dokie. Anybody else want to mention something about the teaser for the next story through Jack? Yeah. I mean, I guess like notice the teaser and then interested in the next story. This is like the first MCU connection thing. Like in one of the Thor story, there's like the Bluestone thing, and like you don't know what's that thing, why it appeared, but for the crazy one, they'll know that it's for the next movies. Yeah, like you guys notice at all? I guess okay. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point.
It's okay. You have final words, Aga, in your last minute.
Thank you for today. Yeah, I'm glad that you guys at least enjoy the story from the beginning and to end. I realize there's some what's the word? I don't want to call it problem like, but like something that I could improve. Yeah, there you go. I could make it better, like Tim and Timayu's trustworthiness. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Aga.
Eka.
Clap, 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 clap.
Yay.